Can we reconvene? I need a motion. Councillor
Move to
Barnes?
reconvene.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. All right. So thank you, Nolan, for being here. And we're going to have a public hearing regarding the land use bylaw 1647D. Honestly, this land use bylaw has been kicked around quite a bit. Today we're trying to put it to rest. So go ahead, Jeff.
Can you make a resolution to go to public hearing?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll make that resolution, go to public hearing.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't need to elaborate as much as I was going to because you all have some context here. We'll deal with them both the amendments in the same public hearing, 1647D and E. D is dealing with all the changes to the land use bylaw, which are primarily legislative. Secondarily, they were corner setbacks. But thirdly, and since you've seen this draft, we found a couple of small errors just in numbering, some grammatical pieces. And Nolan would actually I would like him to come and speak on a point that we've also identified. We had an application in the development office, and we realized that the land use bylaw was missing something to accommodate that. So while it's open, we'd like to correct that as well. We think you'll be agreeable to it. I'll have him speak to that in just a minute. But for those who may watch this later, essentially it's to do some legislative changes to the land use bylaw, and we've corrected some other small things inside of it while it's open. 1647E we'll talk about in a minute, which is just a subdivision, but if you're okay, we'll deal with D first. And so, Mayor, if it's okay, if I could have Nolan come speak to a couple of recent changes in D, and then what will be required after the public hearing is a resolution to adopt the changes, and then any further readings that council wishes to do.
Thank you.
Okay, so like he says, D is mainly just to fix some textual stuff and to fit it with the new MGA rules of advertising for subdivisions and advertising after a subdivision is completed and all that kind of stuff. So the three things that we kind of missed in the first round was there's some corrections to the numberings of section 9 in the R4 district. It's just changing the numbers so they fit to the bottom footnotes. The other one was we corrected a little bit of the wording for the Clearview Triangle because it wasn't worded properly in all of the instances. And then the third one was a little bit bigger one, and it was in all of the districts in like residential, medium density, all those we allow moved-in houses in the discretionary portion of them. We didn't think about putting it into agriculture, but we have all the other things in there, so we should have moved-in houses in the discretionary part of the agriculture district. So we've moved to add that into there, and that's the third change.
Okay, councillors, do you have an issue regarding that item? No? Okay, fine.
So actually stay there for a second. So then the next is 1647E, which is a rezoning request, sorry.
Right.
Nothing's changed, I don't believe, since we've done that.
No.
But you have a couple notes on that one as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
So, Ron Johnson has purchased a couple lots up at the golf course and wants to rezone them both to single-family residential R1, and then he will do a consolidation of the lots together himself and build his house across both those lots. According to Ryan's memo that he sent me, that is still in the direction that the town has given us in our municipal development plans, and all of those is still have a direction of mixtures in all of the zones, and that still leaves a mixture in the golf course zone because there's still 4 or 5 different spots that could be residential. And this also makes one lot into a large lot, which gives them a larger house there too, which they didn't have in their first spot. So we sent letters out to all of the residents around in the area that'd be affected, and I have got nothing back from any of them, so.
All right. So in other words, we can go ahead and move on that. Okay, Jeff, you want to direct us properly as to what we ought to do
So it
there?
appears you have no comments from the gallery, so that simplifies that process. So at this point, Mayor, you can adjourn the public hearing. You can go back to your regular council meeting. We would request adoption of the changes of 1647D. And then any further readings, we would recommend both, by the way, but it's up to you. It's your discretion. There's been no changes to E, so the second and third reading can also happen on those without any delay.
Okay, thank you very much. So we need a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Councillor Brown?
Make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you, and thank you, Nolan, for your input, and Jeff, thank you. So, go ahead, Councillor.
I move to adopt the changes to bylaw 1647D as outlined.
Okay, so on your agenda is under 6D. We are jumping right there right now. Okay, so here are the changes as explained to you. So, ready to vote? In favor? All in favor? Thank you very much. All right, so we can also do second and third reading, considering the public hearing did not bring any further need to make amendments. We will carry on with second and third. Okay.
I'll move second reading of bylaw 1647D.
Okay, Councillor, we're just going to wait for you. Thank you. We are under 60, under the land use bylaw amendment. We have adopted the amendments. We now need to pass second reading, so that's what we're going to vote on. All in favor? Thank you very much. And we need third reading.
Move third reading of bylaw 1647D.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much. I think at this point, Nolan, we have a land use bylaw until further amendments.
Thanks for your work on
So
that,
thank you
Nolan.
very much. I know it has been a painful journey, but with a...
It's always fun.
Well, I'm glad you call it fun, Nolan. Thank you. Okay.
And then work on E now.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. 6E, land use bylaw amendment, 1647. So this is a Ron Johnson parcel. And so we passed first reading on that one already, so we need to pass second and third.
I'll make a motion that we have a second reading for bylaw 1647E.
Okay. Any questions regarding that? All in favor? Thank you very much. So now we need third. Councillor Bengry?
I'll make a motion to approve third reading of bylaw 1647E.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much. Councillor Drew, I get you next time. All right, so
Are we doing third read of that one as well then?
We just did.
That was
we
approval
just
for-
did,
That was approval for third read.
Approval to,
yes.
You didn't need a motion to approve third
oh,
reading.
did
We
we?
already had passed the first, so can we reword that?
Yes, make a motion to
So
third reading.
rescind your previous motion and go for it. So
I'll rescind my previous motion to approve third reading.
yeah,
And
sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'll make a motion to accept third reading of 1647E,
Okay,
land use bylaw.
amendment. Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much. All right, this is done too. Thank you, Council. So let's go to 7F. Business arising from delegations. So from the delegation, the RCMP, I don't know if you have any more comments or
Much
anything
longer is
else?
Sergeant Hodge with us before he moves? Do we
He
know?
sells his house.
Not long.
Okay.
This is for long.
Changes in detachments are a common thing. No one is staying more than 3 years, or within 3 years, we know that they will be moved. So, no further comment regarding that. Regarding Mr. Norm Sheen, I'm sure he's dealing with the snow up there.
In the morning. We'll
Yeah.
See if we can get him here on the 22nd.
All right, you have under 8 some financial report. on August 2019. As I asked you, Jeff, before regarding that one, if you could look into the tax revenue, I just was curious and very pleased, if that is the case, to see that all taxes have been remitted. But I just want to make sure that that is the case. I know that we have some arrears from past years. This is why the question. Under 8B, we need to approve the quarterly development report, and Councillor Drew, you will do that for us, won't you?
You don't approve it, it's just for me.
Oh, it's for, yes, that's right.
I know you're anxious.
That's right. I do. I'm anxious to fix my problem.
That's okay.
Sorry.
We have to adjourn at some point tonight, and that'll be on you.
Okay, the quarterly development, oh, yes, that's right. I thought it was the electrical, sorry, I didn't read it right.
The sharing,
Right, okay. So,
one's only 200,000.
under 9 question, no one asked to ask questions, so we carry on with the correspondence. The town of Coaldale, now that's an interesting seminar that is being offered. So is there interest?
Is that something that administration should be going to, or I wasn't really
Jeff?
sure when I
One
read
of the
it
reasons
over.
I put it on your agenda is and is it just mine, or did on the next 2 pages, are yours just blank, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, mine too.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it. Well, I'll email you tomorrow the more thorough agenda that's supposed to be in those 2 pages. It's really focusing on councillors' conflicts of interest. It's really a council-based legal seminar.
Yeah, and this why it is for council. I really think that I would like to go. I looked at it and I think I'm available to go that day. I think at least if one of us goes to try to understand a little bit on the legal side.
Just a point of interest here. We each have our $2,000 education funding that we could use for part of that to go, if anybody wants to go.
Yeah,
That is a full-day seminar.
it doesn't have any cost attached to it, except the per diem.
But that would just cover a per diem in
It
the
would.
travel.
It would. So anyway, I will represent the town if nobody else can make it, okay? Just by sheer interest. 10B, I don't know if you received it then in your packet or not. The AUMA McKinnon report summary, it's a good summary, I would say. They raise some interesting points where they feel that maybe the province might move in a direction that's maybe not in accord with that report, but that report is non-binding. So we shall see. And 10C, South Grow is an invite, and Councillor Selk, you may want to speak to that invite.
Okay.
It's regarding water. It's a very important topic. It's going to become more important as the years go by in the south.
Southgrow is sponsoring a water security forum on November the 7th, and they're asking all towns to send all town members of Southgrow to send a representative. And the purpose of this water security forum, to cut to the chase, is that there are communities along the Milk River Basin, for example, that have some unsecured water sources, namely the Milk River itself. So they're looking to have this water security forum so that we can create a body going forward to approach the province and the federal government to look at other storage sources of water in southern Alberta for agriculture and municipal purposes. And no one's really wanted to talk about dams on any river sources in this province since the Old Man River Dam and how much angst that created. So anyway, they're asking to send a representative, and I would volunteer to do that.
Okay,
So will they be, and if they're talking to Milk River, they have to go through the IJC and everything else, right? So I guess that's a little more complicated if it's the Milk River, but anyhow.
well, you know, it's a point of conversation. I was talking to Councillor Selk and said to him that years back when I was in South Grove, so it's a while back now, there was a conference similar to that idea of bringing community together. At that point, it was for municipalities to be able to access water licenses. And it was essentially the whole aftermath of the Okotok story that could not access water. And so from Calgary, it was a very lengthy process before they could even get there. So we had the irrigation districts, and there was a minister, and there were all the municipality represented, about the same kind of body that you're going to assemble. And at that point, there were already talks about, it's not so much accessing the water licenses from the irrigation district. The issue is also, is there going to be water? And how do we stop that water from going right to Saskatchewan, bypassing us gloriously, and never being able to kind of get water, harness it here?
But, sorry, there are laws in place where we have to allow a certain amount of downstream to go. We just can't keep
Yeah,
it all
but
here.
there is more going downstream than what we can
That we could
retain
use, we could
here,
retain.
yeah.
Councillor Selk, is the Watershed Council going to be involved in this meeting too?
Yes. Begrudgingly. No, begrudgingly on behalf of the other members of South Grove, they will be involved because they're a little bit
Against it.
against anything.
That's why
It's
I'm
not
asking.
environmentally
The environmental
friendly.
friendly thing.
But essentially, Ducks Unlimited would push towards water storage of some sorts, restoring marshes and all that stuff. So there are other people that would be maybe more in favor.
Maybe
Yes.
just a further comment, if I may. The memorandum of understanding that's included in your package talks about, advocating for water security in southern Alberta. And again, I'll just harken back to some of our friends to the east of us that rely on the Milk River Basin. The water comes from Montana through Alberta back into Montana. And because of the way things operate south of us along the St. Mary's,
Yeah.
that can be restricted so that at times those communities
They have no
have very
water.
little water that they can even draw on.
Yeah, that's
So
what's
they want to secure their water now and in the future, as well as all the farmers that are out there that want to have a secure source of water for agricultural.
I mean,
purposes.
it's not a done deal by a long shot, but if nobody addresses the issue,
No.
it's a problem, right?
Yeah, you're right, Mayor. In essence, everybody has just sort of put their head down and not wanted to deal with this for years, and since 1990, no one's ever wanted to deal with it. So now South Grove's taken up this whole initiative saying, we can't put our heads in the sand any longer. We have to start moving forward and have a common body that will lobby the government's various levels on behalf of this area to have water storage, additional water storage
Yes.
sources.
It's an interesting aside. I had a property for sale out there in the Milk River Basin, which had attached to it water rights for every acre that I was selling. And then somebody came along and bought all the water rights, had no farm in that area, but bought the water rights to move to his own property at a distance away.
Don't know that farm.
And so I just told the rancher, I said, I can't sell your land anymore. You just gave away
The most precious
the
thing.
most precious part of that land. So what's the point of me flogging it and trying to sell it when I haven't got no water rights with it anymore? He sold the water rights for $1,400, $1,450 an acre. That's a lot of money.
It's funny that he was allowed.
And he
to
was
sell
selling
it.
the land for the same amount of money. And so it is a very important thing, and there's people out there that are willing to pay for those water rights and that security.
Yeah.
And he just took it with him and moved it to his property.
That's the issue over there.
Yeah.
Anyways, what we need right now is a recommendation to send Councillor Selk over to that conference and to pay his per diems.
I'll make that recommendation to have Councillor Selk go to the water storage meeting?
Water security
Security, yes, and pay his per diem for that.
symposium. Yeah. All in favor? Thank you very much. All right, that concludes the meeting, the public portion of this council meeting. We now go into closed session.
Move to go into closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. Thank you to the media.
Thanks, Corey.